What's up, race fans? It is Friday, June 5th, 2020, and this is the official podcast of the Orange County Fair Speedway. We call it Talkin' Dirty with Jake, and I am your host, Jake. Let's start the show. All right, what's up? Today we're talking to one of our greatest competitors at Orange County Fair Speedway, the sensational one, Jimmy Air Horton is joining us for a short interview. We are going to be celebrating his career with a special 43-lap race occurring tomorrow, June 6th. And it's going to pay $4,300 to win to the big block winner. It's going to be our opening night for 2020. It's going to be the first race of the 2020 season with fans in the drive-in, not in grandstands. And we're going to stream it live online right on our website, orangecountyfairspeedway.net/live-streaming. Or just go to the homepage and you'll find links to it. But anyway, so we've got that happening. So why don't I just kind of put out some info about that first, because we've got some kind of pertinent info for competitors regarding tomorrow night. If competitors aren't yet aware, pre-registration is required. You do have to call the Speedway office. You're going to have to tell them about your hauler length, all that stuff, so that you can be assigned a pit spot. The pits are going to be outside of the infield, not as they normally are. This is due to social distancing and to be able to keep everyone at a safe distance from each other. And, there's other guidelines and stuff regarding the safety and all this with the COVID-19 stuff, and all that information can be found on the Orange County Fair Speedway website. Again, it's orangecountyfairspeedway.net, not .com. Fuck that guy who has .com. Just kidding. But anyway, go there. Go to, in the main menu is competitor info and fan info. If you're a fan, check out fan info. There's all sorts of good stuff there, like how you can get drive-in tickets. And if you're a competitor, check out the competitor info tab. That's where you can find stuff like the pit parking and the COVID-19 protocols and, what kind of stuff is expected of your team, what kind of limitations we're operating under right now. All very important stuff. So if you plan on racing Saturday, tomorrow, please call the Speedway office today, Friday, June 5th. It's very important that you do not just show up, because it's not going to be a simple show up and race situation for the time being. It's unfortunate, but it's necessary. There's nothing we can really do about it right now, and we're just happy to be doing whatever we can. We're going racing. We're doing what we can with it. So we just, thanks for everybody's patience and understanding in this time. And let's just hope it gets back to normal soon. So, but yeah, anyway, please don't sleep on this live stream if you're an Orange County fan. The drive-in seating is limited. We've limited it to 304 spots, again, to comply with social distancing. These spots also have to be pre-ordered. You can't just show up. You got to call the Speedway office. It's a bit of a process. It's a pain in the ass. You're going to get busy signals or voicemails, and because they're very busy. And, again, this is the day before. This information's been out there. We just like to drop the podcasts on Friday. But so because this is kind of the last day, I really want to dedicate this opening, my intro here, to getting this info out. Drivers, go check out the website. Make sure you sign up. Make sure you pre-register. There are very few drive-in spots left, to my understanding, as of today, Friday morning. I expect to get pretty close to capacity. So please call the Speedway office starting around 11 a.m., and you should be able to get through till about 5 p.m., and that is how you can get your drive-in tickets. So, what else? Oh, you may have watched our live stream of the open practice session, which was pretty neat. We had Tim Pitts in the booth calling it almost like it was a race, and we had all our camera crew out testing our equipment and our capabilities. I will say that there was a an issue apparently with on-screen graphics and the live timing and stuff. It has since been resolved, and we are looking at pretty much no issues going into our Saturday stream. So, that said, I really encourage everyone to check it out. And what else was that? We got the live stream. Make sure you watch it. Really awesome camera angles. Oh, and so you might have heard Tim Pitts during the practice talking about how we're going to have special guests in the booth with him, and that this week's booth guest is none other than Mad Max McLaughlin. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all the information going into tomorrow that you guys are going to need to hear. Just for Jimmy Horton, 43 laps, 4,300 to win, special guest in the booth, streaming online, live online, drive-in open. You can get your tickets. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go racing, and let's talk to our guest today, whenever it is you're listening to this, Jimmy Horton. Okay, we're good to go.
Okay.
So, Jimmy Horton, how you been? What have you been doing in this extended off season here that we've been experiencing?
Actually, I've been working on the cars. I've just been doing different stuff that probably you don't get time to do, and I was a little bit behind anyway from the start. We didn't decide on what cars we were getting till late or how we were going to build them, and I got a little bit behind. It actually helped me a little bit, but we're ready to go racing.
Great. So it kind of worked out in your favor a little bit that you had a little extra time.
Yeah, a little bit, but you always, for some reason, when you're under the gun, you can get it done. But when you have the time, you just kind of tinker with stuff and try something, and then you change it and do it again, do it over, and just you take your time because you're not under the gun.
So with no start date in sight, you never had that crunch that forced you to get it done. I kind of see.
Yeah, that's what I've always been. Wait until I got it under the gun, and then we can get it done in a hurry. But when that's not there, it's kind of, okay, we can take it off. We'll just take off tonight. We'll go somewhere else. But, no.
So what kind of stuff do you do when you're not working on the race car? Do you have any other hobbies, or is it all racing in the Horton house?
No, it's pretty much all racing. We that's kind of what we do, and we help a friend of ours that bought a house down in Brigantine. We've been helping him, redo his house. He remodeled the whole thing, and Lisa and I and Hunter have been going down there and helping him out a little bit on weekends and kind of seeing how the other part of the world lives. I've never done that in 40 years. My weekends has always been at the racetrack, not down the shore and looking at a boat.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, so that's has it been a challenge, or has it been somewhat relaxing to have the weekends?
Well, it's relaxing, but it's not what I want to do. I want to race.
Yeah.
We say that, but then we didn't go down to North Carolina or South Carolina and went to race down there. It was just, we just felt it was a little bit too far, and we need to stay up here and concentrate on this stuff up here right now.
Yeah, it's quite a haul. Something worst case scenarios, and now that we're back open, and that could have been a risky endeavor, I guess.
Yeah, you go down there, tear something up, and all of a sudden you're coming back home, and within a few days, everybody's saying, "Okay, we're racing," and now you're behind the eight ball again. But now we're gonna.
Have you ever raced down at that track before, or was that one that you hadn't been familiar with?
Nope, I haven't raced that one down there.
Yeah, I don't get down south much, so I wasn't super aware of it until they announced the race. I wonder how many of those guys had ever were there for the first time.
Yeah, pretty much everybody. It was
their
first time. We've never had a modified down there.
They've never run modifieds at that track.
No, down south they don't have any of the R type cars. Now down Louisiana, they have our style cars, but they don't have a lot of them. I mean, probably the whole state might have 15 of them. But
I knew it was. I know it's like pretty regional up here, but I know that they go down to Florida to race, and I'd heard that in Louisiana that they were racing modifieds. Pretty interesting. Now, is it the same modifieds out in Australia? Dirt racing is real popular. Do you know what they race out there? Like, I know we have Australian dirt racers here, right? You've got Peter Britton. What do they typically race out there?
Yeah, I believe it's our same car, same one we do, because Troyer sends a lot of them over there, and so I believe it's the same style race car that we have.
That's pretty interesting. So it's mostly in the Northeast. You got a little bit down south, and then some out in Australia.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So what is I guess, we have this event coming up, and we're going to do a 43-lapper, and we're doing 4,300, and, we're celebrating one of our greatest champions, Jimmy Horton. And I guess, so in the history of your career at OCFS, what are some of the moments that stand out in your memory as, like a big win or just a crazy moment?
Well, it's a lot of them. It's where I started. Because I was pretty young and I couldn't run in the state of Jersey. My father raced at Flemington Speedway all his life, and I went there as a kid. And when I started racing at 16, you had to be 18 in Jersey. So we decided to go to Nazareth, and I think I was only at Middletown one time to watch one time. And then, I said to him, I'm going to go to Middletown and race on Saturday nights. And went up there, and our first race we raced up there, we won second in the sportsman race. And then that same year we won the championship. And then the next year I won a 100-lap modified race. It was my first win there. I think it was my first modified win. What was the format of that race? It wasn't Eastern States, was it? No, that was just I won it 2 years in a row. I think I won in 75 and 76. It was a 100-lap race, either the spring opener they call it, or it was just a 100-lap race they had. And I won it, and that was a pretty big one. And of course, we won the Eastern States a couple times. That was good, and just winning a track championship. And then, what's the funny part is I won championship, and I finished second in points in 75 in modified. 76, I come back and won the championship. Then I got the ride with statewide, so I left. 20 years later, I come back driving for Duchess. Come back in 95, I think it was. I run second in points. The next year, I won the championship again, 20 years later.
So you've had some, big gaps where you weren't at Orange County and you were off doing, other kinds of racing, right? Like when you were in ARCA and that stuff. So you weren't at Orange County as often during those years, right? No, I've been, in spurts. I've run there 2 or 3 years in a row, and then I think when I got the Duchess ride, I came back from down south, and I run another 3 or 4 years, and then I started doing some more
cup racing and went back down south. And then I came back again 40 years later with Hallmar and Chris, and I think we almost did the same thing. First year I came back, we finished in top 5 in points and then won the points the following year.
Yeah, 2017, right?
Yeah, so it was like 41 year span that I won a championship.
So you have championships in a couple of different decades here.
Yes, in 70s, 90s, and 2010.
It's one of the things that's so interesting about Orange County Fair Speedway is how long of a history some of our current drivers have with the track. It's really I don't know that it's common in other areas of the country in local racing, but I find it like incredibly fascinating how we have multi-generational drivers and drivers who have like big wins and across 3-4 decades. I mean, is this something that is common in other areas that you've raced?
I don't think so. Middletown's always been, like when I was growing up and I was younger, I'm saying when I was 12, 13, 14, you read about guys like Buzzy Roon and Rags Carter, Frank Schneider, Botcher, and they all raced Nazareth in Middletown. And at that time, to me, that was like the elite of modified racing, and they were the best. And then when I started racing against those guys. I raced against Buzzy and Wayne and Botcher and Carl Van Horn, and it was just, I was very fortunate to be able to race against them, and then also turn around and go to another racetrack, and race against guys, like Toby Tobias and Bright Bell and Jimmy Kepley and guys all raced Reading. It was a whole different breed out in Pennsylvania that was in New York, and it was enjoyable both places. I just learned a lot more when I went to Middletown and raced against those to start out my career.
I bet there are guys now that were young back then that are racing you now thinking the same exact thing. Like, holy crap, I'm racing against Jimmy Horton and, all these guys that I watched when I was a kid still.
Yeah, it was, a friend of mine, old Doug Olson, always said, he said there'll never be a crop of drivers that came up within the same 3 or 4 years. Because, when I started racing in 74, Frank Cozy started racing in 74. Alan Johnson started racing then. Danny a couple of years later. Brett a couple of years later. Billy Pouch. Just so many drivers then started racing it within 3 to 4 years. And funny because we're all still racing against each other.
Yeah, I was going to say, these guys all have remained, the names in the sport. I mean, I'm in my early 30s, and I don't, my knowledge doesn't go back that far, but I know all those guys.
And the thing is, we're all still talking to each other, too. That's a good thing.
Everybody gets along?
Yeah, we get along. Every one of us has had our spats, but we all get along.
Spent so much time together at this point, right? I mean,
yeah, we appreciate, what their careers have been, and, and hopefully they appreciate what mine's been, and that's the way things go.
Did you have a rival? I mean, did you ever consider any of these guys to be your, the one that was kind of always in your rear view, or you were in his?
Well, there's a lot of them because I raced so many different places, and that's, I didn't always have I kind of called myself an outlaw. I kind of raced wherever I wanted to race. I wasn't set on one racetrack. I was fortunate to, drive for statewide, and, we can do whatever we wanted to and race where we wanted to. And, it was like one week we race against Billy Pouch. Next week we race against Brett. And we go to New York and race against Danny Allen, Bob McCready, Jack Johnson. It just it was a whole
You were the guy that was coming in to mess everything up for the regulars.
I was trying to. It was a good deal, but we've like I said, Brett and I have raced against each other for years. We had our spats and we had our problems, but we still talk to each other and race against each other. And to this day, we'll race each other as hard as we can race. And same thing with Billy Pouch. We know what our limits are and how we race each other, and we've done it for 40 years, so nothing's going to change.
Do you feel like after you've been driving against guys for so long that you have like that you know their style so well that you have kind of different strategies for dealing with different driving styles, or is it kind of just live in the moment?
No, you know what you're up against. You know how far you can push one of them. Sometimes you can push one of them a little bit more and get away with it. And other ones, push back a lot quicker. It's just different ways of racing. Their way of racing. So it's, I don't know if it makes it easier, but it, they're just as intense as racing as I am and want to win. So you know how that is.
Right. You're all in your head because you're thinking the same thing. Yeah. So, going into this weekend, what's your kind of strategy? Is there any new setups in the car that you've been tinkering with this extra time that did you get out for the practice session? How's everything feeling?
We've made some changes with the way we put the car together and different suspension points here and there, DKM, and we've been trying some different stuff and hopefully it'll work. We've only had one race under our belts with what we did, and then our practice there on Tuesday, we felt we were close. Car was pretty consistent. So now we just got to learn what to do and where to make some changes during the course of a night if we need to. We got to get racing now and start seeing what we can throw at the car and what it's going to like. But I think the car was driving real well. So we got Billy the Kid motors and went through them over the winter, and I got them freshened up pretty good, and they felt pretty good last two we run. So like I said, we're excited to get racing again.
Yeah, you and everybody else. The build up to this has been crazy, and the excitement over finally opening. It's like, there's some serious energy in the air over this one. So I think it's going to be a pretty crazy event. I mean, it should be a crazy amount of talent there, and we're going to live stream the whole thing online for people to watch across the country. I really hope, some of our fans who've moved away and left New York or the area can pop back in and watch it online and kind of go back to the old days. Should be really cool.
Yeah, hopefully, that'll be pretty neat. It seemed like they're doing pretty good with that, and hopefully, everybody can tune in. We'll get a big. Yeah,
we got to adapt. Things aren't ideal now, and we're not necessarily sure how much longer we're going to have to do things differently. But I don't know. We're going to make it work. And we're racing, so that's all that really matters, right?
Yeah, well, that's all that really matters. We're racing. But we also have to look at, the guys that are putting them on. how much can they take without the fans? We need the fans to help the promoters put the show on, and hopefully with this live streaming and stuff, they can it helps them a lot. That's my major concern is that I don't want to see a promoter just open up and all of a sudden he looks at his bank account and it's empty and the racetrack stays closed for next year.
It's definitely a real concern. I mean, I would imagine a lot of people are asking, is it worth opening up? I don't know that anybody has that answer, but
they don't.
Everybody's excited to get back to it, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's there's no real right answer, I don't think.
Yeah.
I was looking, with the way things are going, I was looking for, a lot of promoters to get together and one track put a big show on one week, and next week another one do it, until this year gets over and all this stuff gets out of our hair. And
it would be cool if they could come together like that. That's an interesting.
This way it gives everybody a different look of every week, and we can keep the live streaming getting bigger and better, and people get excited to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm an Orange County guy, but with all this live streaming, it's for any race fan, it's a great opportunity to check out races at other tracks. I mean, like I said, I hope people tune in to our stream, all over the world.
Yeah.
I encourage our fans to watch racing at other tracks as well. Take it all in.
I know we're not NASCAR or nothing, but it seemed to be helping them, with their.
Well, I mean, you're talking NASCAR. Come on, we're more fun to watch than NASCAR. I think most of the people listening will agree too. I don't think that's a controversial statement.
Yeah, well, it's just they just think they put their pants on a different way, but no, but it's just people wanting to see racing. I feel you get the late models on there, the sprint cars, and then our modifieds. There's enough people in the country to be watching everything. So, like I said, hopefully it'll turn out good, and it'll be good for the racer, it'll be good for the promoters, and it'll be good for the fans.
Sure hope so. Yeah, I mean, I've got high hopes. It's going to be an awesome weekend. Jimmy, I'm going to let you go. I know you got a race car to get ready, and you got an event to prep for here. So let's. Why don't we wrap it up? And good luck on Saturday. I'll see you at the track.
Okay.
And, see the fans online. Before I let you go, did you want to shout out some sponsors or anybody?
Oh yeah, you got to thank Hallmark International and Chris Larson and all the people that are behind him that work so hard to get our race teams going. We got myself, Stuart Friesen, Matt, Allison. You got Jessica, and Daniel. He helps us all. Tyler, he helps us all enjoy what we love so much, and you got to thank him. You can't thank him enough. Let's put it that way. And now he's got the racetrack to worry about and get things going there. And it seems like he's got some people, in line to get it done. I look forward to Brett doing a good job there, and all my sponsors. We got Penske Shocks, iBox Springs, and Billy the Kid, and Mr. Race Oil, and Arts Radiator. All the Jones Performance Products, and all the people that's always helped us and get us to racetracks and get us home, and hopefully they can watch us on TV Saturday, and hopefully we can win the race and take the money home.
That would be something, man. I hope you get it. I'll have a good one. I'll see you Saturday.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy.
All right, man.
Good night.
All right. Bye.